Good afternoon, everyone. I am here with the brilliant Dr. Diana Joy Ostroff, who will be speaking to us today about the 12 pillars of dynamic vitality and sex appeal. So Dr. Ostroff has been practicing naturopathic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine on Oahu since 1989. She was motivated to go into her career by a desire and drive to heal herself. She began her quest for knowledge, skill, and mastery in 1978 when she started learning yoga, psychology, meditation, nutrition, and physical fitness, holding to a philosophy that we are able to heal our own bodies through elements found in nature, guided her to seek out the field of naturopathy. 12 years of additional study in pre-med and medical sciences, as well as naturopathic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, Hawaiian healing arts, and studying abroad in Asia and Europe, plus 34 solid years of treating tens of thousands of patients, has given her the experience and credibility to make a deep and lasting impact and impression on her patients. She's written 3 books and has traveled abroad to speak for health and adventure retreats, as well as hold seminars and community workshops for her local following. Looking forward to hearing from you, Dr. Ostroff, and let's begin.
Thank you, Randy. Yes. So, yes, so the 12 pillars of health, that's the foundation of everything that we do here in my clinic, the Center for Natural Healing Hawaii. And I have been doing it for a long time, and I've gained so much experience and knowledge as I go. And I've realized that there are just key elements that need to be addressed that underlie every aspect of our health and well-being and lead to longevity or lead to states of chronic degeneration and despair. And I'd love to summarize them, or if you'd like to ask me any particular questions about it, about anything.
Absolutely. Well, happy to have you here. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to go into naturopathic medicine?
So I basically struggled as a child. My whole childhood, I was not healthy. I started with digestive problems that were a result of not having been breastfed when my mother passed away. And I became ill in my tummy, was rushed to the ER for surgery, exploratory surgery in my gut because I had pain and wasn't using the bathroom. And that led to 25 years of stomach problems and pain. And as I got into even childhood, I recognized I wasn't focusing. I couldn't think. I couldn't focus. And I was just not feeling like a good student. I had really struggled, and then started getting PMS and started getting emotional distress and depression. And all of these things just sent me on this quest to figure out how to fix myself, and thinking that I couldn't be the only one. There were others that obviously need help feeling better. And, which leads me to the first few of the pillars is basically we have to admit and become aware that this is not all there is. Like, this is not as good as it gets. There are ways we can feel better. So having that awareness, and then because I started studying health, I understood that I did not think that drugs had any relationship with health. What I believed was nature. I grew up in nature and I thought I feel good when I'm in nature. I feel like the sun helps me, and being in plants and water and a natural environment, which is one of the main pillars. And so I was just on this quest until I was able to figure it out and start feeling better once I became a naturopathic doctor. And that helped me to help so many others, which a lot of people are needing help out there, especially in the same areas I was struggling, the gut and the brain and the, emotional well-being.
Mhm.
So, we have to understand that we have to get our thoughts in the right place and believe that we can be healthy. That is one of the foundational principles. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I love to hear stories of how people, you know, went or directed themselves into certain areas or sometimes fell into certain areas by accident. Okay, I love that. So what kind of training did you get, and are you a licensed physician?
Yes, I am a licensed physician, and I went to undergraduate school for 6 years. I was studying psychology, thinking it was all in my head, that it was just something wrong with me, and recognizing it wasn't. Then I started studying the other things, like you mentioned, yoga and meditation, which are foundational pillars. We need to be able to relax our nervous system in order to heal. Otherwise, we're living in a state of sympathetic overwhelm. So meditation became one of the foundational things that I started to do. And then yoga and moving the body is so important. And as I was studying those in college, I realized there must be more. I needed to understand more medically and scientifically. So I went to did pre-med and then a 4 full-year accredited medical school where I learned everything that the medical doctors learn in the first 2 years: histology, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, histology, cardiology, pulmonology, gastroenterology, urology. We learned all that. And then in the 3rd and 4th years, we learned how to use nature to heal the body. So I studied for 2,000 hours of clinical classroom nutrition, which makes me an expert at helping people with nutrition, which is a foundation, one of the foundations, the 12 pillars of good health. And then using herbal medicine instead of pharmaceutical medicine. Herbal medicine has very few side effects, if any, and they're safe for the body, and they have amazing medicinal properties. So yes, I studied for a long time, and afterwards I got licensed by a state board, a national board, and went through that rigorous uh, examination period. And yeah,
Mm.
so the training is intense. Yeah.
No, I hear you. I hear you. So why would someone go to you rather than seeking out their PCP or a specialist for their problems?
A great question. A lot of times people are not able to get an answer from their doctor. So they have a problem, and then they get maybe diagnostic tests. They might have to get sent to a specialist. That might take months. It might take more than months. And they aren't getting answers of how they can heal their body. So there was a statistic that in the last 2 years, there have been 6.8 billion prescriptions filled. And yet the conventional medical standards state that only 12% of our population is actually considered healthy. So to go that conventional route and just take medication from your doctor without ever addressing with a naturopathic like myself, we actually find the cause of the illness. We don't just mask symptoms with medicine. We actually seek to find the cause. There's a root cause, and once we know what that is, and then there are ways to overcome the obstacles to the healing. And so when people come to me, they actually start to feel better, and it happens quickly within 5 days to 2 weeks, people start feeling better, and then it progresses from there.
Nice.
And I think when people want to get well, that's a good time to seek a good naturopathic doctor with good experience.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, that's fantastic. What kind of patients do you treat, or is there an area that you specialize in?
My areas of specialty are really around the digestive system, so gut health, emotional health, hormonal health, and energy and fatigue related issues, because these are the things I struggled with for decades. So I have a lot of empathy when people have these conditions because I know how it felt. I had diagnosed a thyroid condition for many years, maybe decades. I had undiagnosed chronic viral fatigue syndrome for decades that no one was able to discover for me. So those are the tend to be the kind of patients I attract, though I treat children and I treat elderly, I treat men and women, so I treat everyone. I don't treat disease, though. I do treat people. So rather than if you say, will you treat my fungus? I'll say no, but I will treat you because my patients have to be looked at as a whole complex interaction of their lifestyle and their environment and their genetics and their tendencies and the things they grew up with. So everything is related. So definitely I look at the whole person, and that's one of the pillars, is that every aspect of one's life need to be taken into consideration when doing an overall treatment plan.
Absolutely.
We're not just treating the sum of the parts, we're treating the whole being.
Yeah, and I think that's really important because you have to look at the whole picture, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I know you touched on this already, but how long does it take for someone to experience results when visiting you?
Well, I get really dramatic improvements quickly. So typically, if I see a patient on Monday, I tell them to expect to start feeling better by Friday. So
Mm.
about 5 days. Sometimes there's the first 3 days where their body is getting adjusted and maybe we've made some changes. They may or may not feel the best in those first 3 days, but by day and four and five, they start actually feeling better. And it just builds from there. So if a patient starts out feeling somewhere down here, as time goes on, little by little, they start to feel better and better. And the changes happen quickly. They're subtle and yet profound.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's good news, and it's pretty quick results. So
Yeah.
what are generally the first steps someone needs to take in order to begin to have a healing experience?
We really have to believe that our bodies were made able to heal and able to supposed to be healthy. So our genetics plays roughly 10%, according to researcher Dr. Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Biology of Belief. And he discovered that relatively 10% of our health is determined by our genetics. And that gives us 90% of our lifestyle, and our health is going to depend on the choices that we make. So that it's really important that we pay attention to what's within our control and within our power. And so taking responsibility, I like to think of patients having a dynamic role in their health and well-being rather than relying solely on their doctor to fix them. I like for patient participation, for them to realize most of the work is going to be done by you. I'm just going to tell you what to do. I'll tell you what to eat. I'll tell you what to take, what not to take, and then you get to decide whether or not you want to follow. And when you make the decision to, okay, I've been trying on my own for all these years and it's not working, I'm ready to be guided. So those are some really important first steps: a willingness to heal and a willingness to be guided. Gently, of course.
Yeah. but definitely they have to be willing and on the same page, that's for sure. So I see in your bio that you specialize in the gut-brain connection and healing. Would you share a bit about that and how it works?
Well, the gut-brain axis, it's a relatively new concept that it's a bi-directional communication system that goes between the central nervous system in our brain to the enteric nervous system in our gut, linking cognitive and emotional thoughts simultaneously and then connecting them with our digestive system. So, for instance, everything that we eat, first of all, before we eat, we see something we want to eat and we get thoughts about it. And we might be thinking, I know I shouldn't eat that. And right away, our brain is going to start creating certain neurochemicals just from us thinking, I know I shouldn't eat that. And then if we eat it, our gut is going to start sending signals back to the brain saying, yep, you were right. You shouldn't have eaten that. And the body's going to start to have symptoms. Those symptoms feed back to the brain and tell the brain, oh, I knew I shouldn't have eaten. Now I don't feel good. So then the brain it lets out neurochemicals that remind the body that they shouldn't have eaten that. And so it becomes a feedback whereas when we see an apple, a juicy apple, and we say, oh, that looks really good, we all of a sudden our digestive system starts to bubble with juices, digestive juices. Just thinking about it now, you might be salivating. And then you take a bite of that apple and all the positive serotonin is being produced by the 100 million neurons that line the gut and sending messages back to the brain like, oh, that was a good thing to eat. I feel good. And then the brain will in turn create neuropeptides and neurotransmitters that help us to feel good again. So we feed back. And at some point, we have to take leadership with our gut. And yes, we might be craving that thing and our body is craving. However, our nervous system knows better. And we get this amazing opportunity to really check in and say, what should I be doing here in this moment? You know, as digestive health and well-being are one of the main pillars of health, if we aren't paying attention to what our body is telling us, like every time I eat that certain thing, I get bloated. And if we find ourselves addicted to that particular food and we keep eating it, then that is an opportunity to check in with your naturopathic doctor or call me, because it means that there's an imbalance in the microflora of your gut biome, which is the community of diverse bacteria that live in our bodies that are designed to help us digest, assimilate, utilize nutrition, eliminate waste, and carry on all the digestive functions of our life and of our body. So if they're out of balance, those microflora, if we're craving sugar, it's an indication that they're out of balance. If we continue to crave the things that we know on an intellectual level aren't good for us, it means our gut microflora is out of balance and we need to correct it. So that's a very brief summary of the gut brain axis and how it works.
Okay, that's quite detailed. Good information. Thank you. What is the best way for a potential patient to contact you?
We have a beautiful website, naturalhealinghawaii.com, and we have hundreds, maybe 700 different blogs and articles and reference materials for you to look at, many published articles. And at the bottom of that website, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see our social media different locations so that if you like TikTok or if you like Instagram or if you like Facebook or if you like YouTube, whatever you like, you can find more information and you can learn more about what we do in any of those ways. The best way is to go through our website and fill out the contact information. Let me know what your questions are. Let me know how I can be of support, because if you're sitting there thinking, I really wish I could feel better, oh, maybe I should call, that means you should call. If you're not feeling at the top of your game and you want to, I'm already in my 60s and I still feel really, really better than I felt when I was in my 20s. And that is what my programs offer, that you can start feeling better than you felt in decades.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And it's funny because some people's mindsets are, well, if my doctor doesn't know, then nobody knows, or if my doctor can't fix it, it can't be fixed. They have this mindset of just focusing on the doctor and those being the only solutions that are available. But there's lots of solutions out there and lots of people, amazing, well-educated, brilliant people like yourself who can help them in so many different ways that could be more effective than the conventional medical way that people typically,
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
automatically.
Right. Another pillar is just be like, realize that everything is going to happen little step by step. Like we only can climb a hill one step at a time. And if you even just get a little better, then it's indication that there's so much potential for you to get even better and better. Sometimes it happens so slowly, but sometimes I'll have a patient here that I'm thinking, oh my God, it's going to be so difficult. And they come back 1 week later and I say, how are you? They say, I feel better, doctor. And I'm like so happy because they have so much to work on. Like we all really do. If you think of your own desk or your own to-do list, any of us, or your list of problems from head to toe. We have 10 plus issues at all times to deal with and to think about. So if we can just make such minute changes forward, moving forward step by step, it's hopeful that then you'll have opportunity to even do better and better. And we have to be working on ourselves. If we stop striving, we die. We don't want to let ourselves stop striving. And I don't believe in getting old. I believe in getting better.
And I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time here and sharing your wisdom with us and your great energy as well. So thank you so much. And so tell us again your website before we head off.
www.naturalhealinghawaii.com, all spelled out. Natural Healing Hawaii. Yes, I'm in beautiful Hawaii, and we have a beautiful retreat center if you ever want to come and have a stay. And we have the most cutting edge technology in our clinic. We have equipment from all over the world for diagnostics and for treatment. We're doing the hyperbaric chamber and ozone IV and electrodermal screening and thermal screening, thermometry. We have so many wonderful things, intravenous treatments for cancer patients, and everyone gets better here.
Well, sounds like a retreat destination.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, great. Well, please reach out to Dr. Ostroff. I know she'd be absolutely thrilled to help you. I'm sure you do virtual as well, so
Yeah.
that people can reach out to you for that. And it's a great excuse to go have a trip in Hawaii, that's for sure.
I have patients that fly over twice a year, but even if you just come once, or even if you just pick up on the phone and we can do it remotely, it's good. Very good.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time and for sharing with us. And I look forward to the next time.